Hello fellow glue sniffers and true snippers, and welcome back to Blitzkrieg Modelworks. I'm Bob, you know me as Darkman on the forums. How's it going, everybody? So the last piece of the puzzle for my early Panther 2 diorama was to get a cat. Not just any cat, but a cat in a particular pose. After looking around in the internet, I found there was very few offerings available. There was a 3-piece set from a European company called Roleplay Up Kit, but none of the poses really appealed to me. The same with there's a couple of sets from a Japanese or an Asian company called Aurora Model, but they're in white metal. But again, none of the poses really kind of perked my interest for what I wanted to do. And then I found these guys, Industria Mechanika. I probably completely butchered that, but I hope not. They do primarily steampunk and mecha type stuff, but they do have some interesting animals. In them is a 4-piece cat set in 1/35 scale. And how small are these cats? Well, they're pretty darn small. These things are tiny and very, very delicate to try and handle. And they all come in one piece except for the one that I did. And you'll see it's a very complicated pose. The casting is exquisite, but requires a lot of very careful cleanup with the resin. The resin's quite brittle, and the castings are very thin. Especially, there's little molding webs in between some of the feet. So it'll porker that one. How I got those off was by basically taking an X-Acto knife and using the tip and scoring it backwards across. And even then I broke the tail off of the one that I chose twice. One of the paws once, I actually lost one paw and had to refabricate it from stretched styrene. But this is the finished cat that I chose. And you can see this is a fairly complicated pose to do in resin, so it was 2 pieces, the upper torso and the 2 fore limbs, and then the 2 rear limbs and the tail. Fairly expensive, but considering how difficult this would have been to try and sculpt myself, I wasn't going to complain. It was $15 US for the 4, plus about $15 shipping, so in Canadian dollars it's about $7,000. No, in actuality it was around $41 Canadian, which all things considered I'm happy with that. People would say, you paid that just to get a cat? Yes. Once you see the diorama, you know, the little inside joke, and there's a joke within the joke, you'll kind of get it, and to me it's worth it. Great company to deal with, had 0 issues getting their product, other than, like I said, the resins seems to be fairly brittle, but I mean the parts are flippin' tiny too. I mean the tails are maybe a millimeter and a half across at the base where they would connect to the body. The tail on this thing was, I mean, it's way out there. There was a big web holding that whole thing together that I had to cut off, and it was quite the chore to do that. So highly recommended if you guys want to do some cats. The Aurora Model ones, by the way, they're usually a pack of 5 or 8, something like that. The bigger pack have some kittens and whatnot in them. They're white metal, but they're $20 US. And the Roleplay Up kit, the 3 of them I think were around €4 off the top of my head, something like that. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope to have the Panther 2 early final reveal done here pretty quick within the week. And we'll move on from there and hopefully get that darn Sturm Panther finished. All right, talk to you later, guys. Thanks a lot.